Yeah, Dado.
Yeah.
What is your in your when you that got the build, you built it? Is your sensitivity crazy high as well?
No. I plays like a
Have, it,
dream.
is, have you got the
Uh,
raw input stuff going? I have a
yeah,
feeling that's
I
probably what's.
think so. Are you connected with DS for Windows?
Yeah, but my sensitivity is crazy with or without it.
Sorry,
My sensitivity is crazy with or without it.
with or without it?
Yeah. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you in
Uh,
a second. Hold on.
so if you disable raw input, does it change?
Let me find it. Hold on.
Because we need to understand what the what's the name was the raw input. Yeah, how the raw input is making a mess out of it. Um, I fixed a
Yeah. So,
lot of issues on those USB controllers. I mean, the broken stuff that they get is like unbelievable.
okay. Well,
Um,
this feels more normal now. Is my raw input? Yeah, but if I press down, I get reset. Like if I tap down on the D-pad.
Sorry to cut in, but David, does the error log I just put in our group chat, does that mean anything to you?
Is the
That I
what?
mentioned I've just put an error in our because I can't get our project to open. I keep getting this error, and it's the same every time. And I know that you had, or Dad mentioned you had issues with the engine a little while ago.
I have no
Does
clue what
that
that means.
doesn't mean anything? Oh,
Yeah, I don't
all
know
right.
what that means. Yeah, something is off completely. I don't know. Let
so
me
is
try. Let me try it
if
with
you
DS for Win. So DS for Windows was off. Let me turn it on now and see what happens.
if
Yeah,
you move
maybe
with the
it's.
mouse, is it crazy sensitive?
You know, I can't control it with my controller now. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, with DS for Windows active, it's like double the sensitivity. Yeah, but down doesn't reset me. I think some of the raw input mapping is off. I don't know actually. It might be similar. I can't really. I don't know why it just feels off. It just feels like really quick. Let me
So sorry. So if you move with the mouse, you move as before.
Yeah, so this is the speed at which I move when I'm with the mouse. This is without. This is like just the
Is it
thing.
like are you showing me on the stream?
Oh, sorry. Let me share my screen. Hold on. So this is normal.
This is with the mouse, right?
No, this is with my controller.
Right.
This is with the mouse. It's. I think it is the same. I think it's the same. Maybe we just need to turn it down. Yeah. Let's turn it down. Let's see how. Let's see. Let me see how it behaves. In this guy. See, this guy feels a lot slower. Am I bugging?
No, it is a lot slower.
Yeah, look, it feels way slower.
Yeah. No, it feels like, yeah.
Like everything feels less in this
Yeah, I
one.
mean, this feels very good, right? This is just the right amount.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, let me wind back that jump quickly. What's my screen doing? Oh, it is. What is going on right now with my thing? You know, there's some weirdness going on in that's been it's transferred across in the build. I need to have a look at it. We'll look at it now in 2 seconds. What's this yellow line around my screen? I'm getting such weird stuff right now.
The yellow line around the screen will be OBS capturing it.
Why is it doing that now? It never did that before.
Wait,
Oh,
what are you saying?
weird, man.
Oh, that's weird. Actually, usually OBS doesn't see the yellow line.
Do you know what I mean? So dodgy. Yeah, that's fine. That's just a scale. Like I could scale that back. Mainly controller concerned about the input mapping. Something is different between my version and the build. I don't know what it is. I need to see what's changed. $49 actually. Okay, let me just fire this. So where do we set the look rate, Dada?
So, if you look in the C++, right, we probably override in the constructor. Let me check. Um, yeah, so is that begin play, maybe? Yeah, if you look in the begin play,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let me set this to 1. See what happens. Yeah,
So
I'm still
the
intrigued as
worry,
to why the build behaves differently though.
yeah, no, that is definitely. I think it's something to do with the raw input. Like, so in those two different bits, right? If you move around with the mouse, does the velocity changes? Like with mouse only on those two
As
bits.
in like the build or the like are you talking about in editor or and versus build, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you
Okay,
just
I'll
move
check now.
with the mouse, it should be exactly the same, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense because I think it's the raw input making the mess, right?
Hmm.
So I noticed some new behavior anyway for you guys as well. I noticed that when I run the project now, it says that it's missing ARKit plugin bullshit. It never had that before.
Missing a what?
ARKit plugins, for the face.
Like augmented reality.
Well, yeah, but they use it for the MetaHuman face control, blah blah.
Oh.
But it started happening, I think today, really. So something is, yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
Big is, yeah, some configures triple.
I've gotten to the stage where I'm gonna put a post on the Epic forum page and pray to God somebody replies because I can't work out how to get this fucking project open.
Yeah, I think it's something within. See, I have a lot of warnings. Actually, I can show you. I have a lot of warning on your material. That something is dodgy with your material. I think it's it got to a point in which yeah, trip over right now. I show you.
But trips over what?
I don't know. Let me show you.
It'd be interesting to see if any of the warnings say material parameter collection. They shouldn't do because I can't imagine where I'm ever using it. But
no, it won't say specifically that because that is a source code issue, but it will. It will probably boil down to that thing.
what this source error is causing those warnings? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay.
No. It's the other way around. Something dodge is the material is causing.
Oh, it's causing the source to trip up.
Yeah.
Right. But what I don't understand is that I haven't done any material work prior to it shit in the bed. Like it was working fine. I'd done nothing relating to materials, closed it, started it, and then it shit the bed.
Yeah, I know. But generally, when you ignore a warning for such a long time, it always is like karma, right? It always comes back to.
It's like karma. Fair.
Okay, if it moves at that speed like that, let me fire this guy up.
But yeah, can you show me the warnings that are coming up on material?
Yeah. I'm trying to load the thing. I think
Okay.
it's slow on this.
I think it's quicker in the build, or am I just bugging out?
I mean, it may be quicker on the build because the build is running faster, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably what a lot of it is. But I don't think it's much different. It's a little bit, yeah, a little bit quicker. I mean, let me wind down that value.
To be honest, I wanted to add a setting screen for your preferences, like
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's some before we release that. We just got to test more stuff before we drop it, just to see it's on like different machines.
No, but yeah, but this is
well, it's
exactly
so drastically different though. Because when I did fire it up, I thought the rotation was absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is these tests are exactly to test these things, right?
Hmm.
I don't understand how people are getting such different experiences from the same packaged product. Like I'm looking at this clip from Leonidas, and that's nothing what mine looked like when I stride, even on flat ground. I'm
Which
gonna film
one?
a clip in the Help Me Please channel, I think. I'm gonna record a clip of mine striding on the floor, like, as comparison. Let's say it was Mobius. And this is from, I can't even get the edit. I can't get Unreal open, so this is through the package.
Oh yeah, I mean the flat ground jumps are completely mad. Yeah, that I don't really.
But that's not what mine looked like. Like I'm confused how people are getting such different experiences.
Yeah, the flat ground jumps to the ground. They're completely off. I've no that I don't really. I'm not, that, I don't, yeah, I guess it's hard to. People don't get that. They don't. To be fair, they don't know what he's on and off. Okay.
There's some. Yeah, with the right trigger. Yeah, because if you're doing ground jumps and you're striding, if you're doing stride through, you gotta hold the right trigger. Otherwise, you're just doing like a free jump.
The jumps on the.
But that makes sense because in real life, if you was to just do like a full power jump on flat ground and try to do them one after the other without prepping your body for a stride, it's always going to be janky. You have to jump differently for a stride.
I, I'm confused.
It
What's the
makes.
what is the janky bit now?
I think people are getting confused between using right trigger for strides and not using it just for normal jumps. And people trying to do normal jumps, expecting to stride, and then getting weird results because obviously they're trying to do single jumps. I think people are getting a weird.
Well, we didn't actually give any an update of it.
So I should probably actually. I'm going to re-record this clip with the controller. I'm going to mute my. I'm going to. Yeah. Actually, I'll be able to hear you, but no, I'm going to deafen myself in Discord for a sec. I'm going to record a tutorial for the controls. Give me a sec. Uh,
Now you can't charge to jump further with a stride. Yeah, well, I think yeah. I don't think we explained the controls very well. Yeah, I'm having a feeling people are jumping on flat ground, which is unexpected, interesting behavior. Uh, the main
Yeah. Jumping on flat ground, is is very hard to do, right? Because the like if you want power,
Yeah,
it
it doesn't really make sense. Flat ground is very different because you're not really jumping. It's not. Yeah, you're not jumping like a pro. It's yeah, you can't
yeah,
really have a like a normal. The animation also needs to be quite highly specific.
yeah, because it's such a su- it's so tied to the animation because like when you jump on flat ground, right? You know, like the animation knows exactly where it starts and where it ends, right? So instead, if you're jumping off something, then you don't know where you're gonna end up with, and this is where uh, this is where the physics jumps is more effective, right? Uh, but you're muted.
Sorry, Dad. I was like, what did you? Hello.
Can you hear that? So we need to have your tutorial again, guys. Fuck's sake.
Is it in game?
Yeah.
I'll just put it on the Discord. I'm gonna put it as an
Yeah,
FAQ.
but I think yeah, it just.
I'll put it as an
What's this?
FAQ as well.
So wait, so what are you? I can't hear. What are you saying in the tutorial?
I'm just going through the controls for the tutorial because we've had such a lot of confusion as to what the buttons are.
So what did you say for the jumping?
What do you mean? What did I say for the jumping?
So what is the like different behavior? Like
No,
because
I was just going through
you
what the
can't charge
controls are.
power while hold the right trigger.
You definitely can.
You can't.
You,
Because doing a stride doesn't charge you. You don't launch on a stride.
but there's a stride you can't make if you tap it, but you can make it if you hold it. Like
I'm telling you, you can't launch power on the.
all I'm telling you is that that's how it plays. I don't.
You're doing a different job, but it's this because that's I think what's causing the confusion because they're trying to launch, but you're not. You're animation driven still when you're holding the right trigger.
I I don't know then.
I'm
Because
telling you, because like the code it
yeah,
doesn't do that. Like you
yeah, but
actively don't launch the character on it
there's a stride there where if you just tap it, it doesn't make it, and then if you hold it,
Uh,
it makes it.
because so hold on. So are you talking about because one you're doing a run to plyo and one you're doing a run to stride? It's still animation. I'm telling you, it's animation driven. Like it's not power driven like that. Like so, the reason why I get that is because that plyo can jump further. It's not a case of scaling the power, and I think that's what's confusing people.
Right.
We need the
I'd pull
tutorial.
that back until we actually let's clarify all the controls and then
Yeah, but the thing is, Okay, sure, it's slightly misworded, but with the video and with the controller on screen, it's still explaining. They can still see how to make the thing happen.
But it's
Which,
not. It's
rather
but
than
it's like the logic of it is off. Like it doesn't behave that way because then if you're now jumping else, like it's still animation driven and not physics driven. So unlike the other jumps which are, so the strides require an obstacle in your thing, and if you can't do it, it's too far, right? But it's not like physics driven where you launch it because you'll never get that right parabola. Like it is completely animation and context driven, so you need to be within range to be
yeah,
able to stride it.
and I understand that from a technical point of view, but most of the people are getting confused about the controls don't care about the technical point of view. They want to know why they can't make that jump.
But the,
So
the
I'm saying
technical
if you
point of
want to
view
make it
is
precise instead
important
of
because I need them to understand the behavior needs to be with knowledge of what's going on. So when they're jumping and thinking they're jumping further, like this works. It's not that you're generating more physics through because the tap and the hold is actually a differentiation between a plier and a stride, not a more powerful and weaker. So that subtlety is actually wrong, because you'll notice that on a shorter ledge can still do a plier to it, and it's not a case about generating power further. Whereas for the standard jump, it is a case of a mixture of your speed and your distance, because what happens is we launch you off at an angle, and it's a scalar of your current speed going into that jump.
okay.
Like I'd say pull it. Let's just like clarify the controls within ourselves, and then we can go. There's no like. I think let's clarify it, and then we'll push it, because like we've got a lot of new people. Let's not present a lot of misinformation, because I think one of the things we should have done is when we released it, have like a control scheme with it, just to make the process smoother as well. So like the next time we're pushing it, we've got to make sure that we're pushing it with more complete information.
We need to get to a point in which the control setting screen will show you how to do all the moves, right?
No, definitely. But I think if we are doing these like little test releases again, like because the thing is like the information is useful if they know what they're doing, and if they're behaving wrong, still it makes sense. But if they're behaving wrong because they don't know what's going on, that's one thing. But then it's another then it's the other thing, like what is like the base behavior that they'd expect to do that we need to read as well. Um, but yeah, I think let's sort out.
There are only a couple of things that they are not mapped in the control setting screen, because we did it differently in code, right? And those are the strides and pliers, right? But those are the only one which is you need to know how.
But even the jump, like hold X button, I think is confusing, because that is probably why they're jumping max power all the time. Like it is press X, right, to jump. That is the base behavior, and then holding it will build power. So I think there's a lot of like in terms of how we've got the control set up to how we're actually telling them to play. So like hold X to jump isn't right. It is press X to jump, and then if you want to build power, hold it for longer. If that makes sense. Like,
but
I think that's I think what's responding to everyone saying like, why is he jumping to the moon? When the default behavior should just be like, because I don't see why anyone would play the game and hold jump and then release it.
I'm 100% positive nobody has gone into the setting screen and read all the I need to.
But that's I'm intrigued as to why the default is to hold it for as long as possible and then release jump.
But that I think is just some muscle memory there.
Hmm.
Probably people always played like that in a way. But this is good because this is exactly what we need to discover. I mean,
I know, I agree. I just it just feels like there's a slight, like, I think personally for me it's slight sloppiness in the way we rolled it out, because it feels rushed in a way where I don't think it needed to be. Like I think next time when we do it, let's have the build, let's have the control scheme, let's have like an outline of what
yeah,
we're
no, but
testing.
you like we have the control scheme. It's just in the game. We have a
Yeah,
literally
I
two
like, yeah,
things
but I think like,
on the map.
but like you said, I don't think people are going in there and being like they're jumping out and
Yeah,
jumping, and
exactly. So
same with
having
like the
those
way the
control
mechanics
schemes
work of
is
like,
useless. But I
yeah.
think like it's not that like we need to see how people plays the game. Like you can is you know you can write a wall of text of like like people don't read it. Like
No, yeah,
we
no,
we need
that
to
I
see
don't deny, yeah.
the
But I think the then back and forth after of
yeah,
no,
but
no,
like
it's this, but that's
when
wrong. Yeah.
when we released the test one, we had a different set of feedback, right? Now we have another set, but that you know we would have had the same feedback whether we release the control
Mhm.
scheme or not, because it's you know people will just download and play. Right? It's just
Mm.
like
Oh yeah,
it's
I know what you
you
mean.
know, and that is the most in- interesting thing for me. It's like it needs to feel right. Like I think I always remember the iPhone analogy, right? Just like there wasn't even a user manual for the phone. Just like it just worked as
You play
people
and go, yeah.
expected it to work.
But
And
I think that's the pop. Yeah, it's interesting though, because what element then is it like the previous version? Do they go into that new one with, in that sense? So
yeah,
that is, I guess,
yeah,
interesting to see. To be fair,
exactly.
um,
Yeah, yeah. And that, yeah, I think it's that like it's that group behavior, right? That
hmm.
is because like like in my experience, just literally people don't read anything. Just you can explain maybe like people
No, I
don't
know,
read.
no, yeah, no, I'm not doubting that.
Mm.
There's yeah, he's a slightly more organized, I feel. But let's okay, let's sort out what's going on with the input. So it's the raw input then causing the sensitivity to spike.
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me because I don't have that behavior, but my gut feeling is that it is right.
Yeah. So the control. I also have an issue when I'm using the control, like navigating the control menu. Like if I go down, it moves across. But move camera stick. What does that mean? I don't know what's going on. Why is it so sensitive to my flicks? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's enough like navigating the control menu with the thumbstick is off. I don't know what, like it. It's like here it pings back and forth. I'm guessing it's because it's reading the flick left and right.
Yeah,
Do you have that?
navigate that with the D-pad.
Oh, well, wait, we got, because that's how I. But wouldn't that be how most players do? Like, if you're going to use the thumbstick to navigate, right?
I don't know, but yeah,
Because I think that's what I mean. Like, because there's a lot of things that are obvious to me that we're like, I don't think we've accounted for. Like, because like that because we're like go through the controls, but navigating the control menu is a bit of a nightmare right now.
yeah, that I mean,
Because I actively can't with a thumbstick get to jump.
yeah,
So,
yeah, I know, but like there are a billion things that they're not up to scratch. But you know, you need
but I think yeah,
make
that's what I mean. To
make
just
it
to make it
sensitive.
feel a bit more, like organized is the key. Like that's all I'm getting at. Is it like, even though it is this tester thing, I think the experience of it can feel more structured in a way, like from our end. like from like launch to play, is there like a clear, like it? Because like for us, we know like all these things, but they don't, right? They think they're getting a game, so then you can't navigate the controls. You'd be like, why isn't that? I think that's the organized, like the cleanup that is important when giving it to people, like regardless.
It is, but there are a million things that you need to clean up.
No,
So
100%. But it's the like obvious things though. Like because it's like a person doesn't know what to do. They'll go and then see the controls, but they can't navigate the thing properly. That is, like key to getting them to in the playing experience pipeline.
Yeah.
And so if that isn't there, then we need some way for them to, like say, okay, how do I play this game? Especially if they're new, and then there's be like, okay, this is the scheme. Okay, I can't really navigate the control menu because it's not right with the thing. Okay, I got to use the D-pad instead, but that wouldn't be their first instinct. So then they might be like, okay, this is broken. Go back and then just try and figure it out, but not have a real idea of the controls.
Well, yeah, I mean it's debatable because my first instinct is to use the D-pad when I have to just use a menu because it's more digital to me. But regardless of that, it's that is not the issue. The issue is how the game plays.
No, I understand that, but I think it goes a long way for our and the players and the backers experience is from like launch, from like download to launch and everything. Does that process feel more organized and official in that playtest? Do you know what I mean? I think that is the thing I'm looking at from like do you know what I mean? Like from like release and when I play it, does it feel like, okay, I'm like straight off rip, I'm like, okay, play and move around. Say, okay, I'm struggling to jump. What are the jump mechanics? How do they work? How easy and accessible is that information? And that I think goes a long way, especially for new players that don't really know what's, going on and how do I vault, for example. So say someone has never played the game. How do I vault? They go to the control scheme. They're like, that needs to be a nice seamless pipeline so they can properly test it out.
Yeah, but it's not the focus on what we've been doing.
No, I know it's not. But then, what I'm saying is that we like because we're putting it out to people in like a public setting, that is also important. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if we're just giving it to like a bunch of people, like yeah, it's all fine. But because it is publicized, like well, not publicized, but it is like, hey, backers, like this is a testing version. Like, and to them, they're not viewing it as this like hyper like broken sketchy internal thing. They still see it as like a reflection of this build that they've just paid £20 for. So for them, I think a more like coherent process of each playtest, even that could just be like a couple hours of like before whatever it is, it's just like from like picking up the game, it just feels more official in a way. Like, because for us it doesn't matter because I'm like, oh yeah, like the jump of like things off like that I understand 100%. Like I'm testing the play behavior.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and well, I understand it, right? But you only notice the most obvious problem, right? Once we fix the things that the controls are not mapped correctly, then there is the next thing, right? That we needed to fix. So you can say, oh, we needed to fix that, and like because we are so early in the development, those things that are not fixed, they are too long to not to release it, right? So
no, I don't disagree with that.
What is not working for the public, and then you react rather than because
no, but I think
you literally never release anything until it's all finished. Because
100%. No, I don't disagree there. But I think like again we often talk about the first 5 minutes of the playing experience, and I think that should apply throughout no matter what we're doing. Like you should pick up even a testing version and still have a pretty seamless experience. And I think I don't mind it if they get in and the standing jump looks off, that I don't really care about. But
No,
if
but
they get in and the very
that is
first
much
thing,
more important.
yeah, like no, but for me, those are gameplay behaviors that we are testing, right? But to test the ability to know what to do at all, because we've just not told you, is, and you can't access that information easily. I think that's something that affects the experience of testing the game as opposed to the actual game being tested. That makes sense. Like, testing the game should feel efficient. You can test it and give feedback like, hey, jumps were off. That is like cool, as opposed to like, I can't jump. It's like, oh, hold on a minute. Are you using a controller?
But,
Like, are you using your
no,
mouse and keyboard?
but people can jump. Um the confusion was how to do the strides, which
Well,
is the only
this is what I
part.
mean. Like, the strides changed, but nowhere did it say that. This is what I'm saying. Like, and it doesn't take a lot to inform that the strides have changed control wise, because there's nothing in the control scheme that the strides have changed. But then we've also not told them that the strides have changed. So they're coming and saying, oh, I just played this version 2 minutes ago, I could stride, and I can't stride now. Why can't I stride? Like, and that is the micro thing that I'm saying, in terms of like, oh, we're giving these people, we've changed some controls. We got to let them know this is changed to this thing, or make sure the control scheme reflects that, because that will just help the whole testing experience, rather
Yeah,
than it then being like, oh no, it's actually this, and then half the people see it, half the people don't, and then that bit isn't actually what the control is, and then there's confusion and a bit of back and forth. Whereas like, it is just a 20-second thing of like, okay, before we drop it, like, is the control skill up to date? You know, like little things like that. I think, because honestly, like, the big things, like, even if the game runs like FPS is like poop, that's good. That's good data. But the things that are like, just reflect as lack of organization, as opposed to you're making the game and it's the process of development. That, I think, is the thing I'm getting towards. Like, the little things that we can do to make each playtest and release we give a lot more seamless and less like, because what you want to see is like feedback about, oh, like they say, like, the jumping is off, or the thing, or not, like, I stride
but
with right button but not left thing.
so, but it takes about 2 seconds there. Oh, what is it right? Oh, I just pressed the right trigger.
But we told them the wrong, like, the wrong information about it. That this was,
No,
it
we
takes two
didn't tell
seconds,
the
but we
wrong
didn't.
information.
Well, we said that we were saying, because they were like, why can't I jump thing, and we said we could power it, but the strides don't actually work that way. So then they're playing a way that isn't how the, because it's just generally just like, it's not even like a big, it's, for me, it's literally just like, beforehand, like, if we can like make sure that the little things like that, because I think, although like to us it seems like nothing, I think it actually goes a long way in terms of feeling more organized and feeling more complete, and I think that is reflective of the product, because people paid for it. You know what I mean? And I think
No. Yeah,
that's just
but
the, yeah.
okay, but like like there were a couple of feedbacks, right? That people cannot do the strides right anymore, right? Then like the game is much more than they just the strides. So that is just like one small thing, right? Then you could go on and have the next problem, right? Oh, the jumps are too powerful, whatever. Like, so there are always problems that you need to fix, right? What that uh you need to right what assess them.
I'm not denying any of that. What I'm saying is, from our end, next time we can be better by simply, like Dumba's saying, like, taking 5 minutes to just present the build in a more organized way. Like, hey, this is what's changed.
No.
This is what we're working with. This.
Yeah, but like this, like we haven't launched 0.12 officially yet. Like,
Mhm.
I just put the link in. I wanted to see who was downloading it. I was waiting for your changes tonight to really put at here message and say, okay, now we got the
Okay.
new build.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's
And
fine. Yeah, it's just, Yeah, I think it's just I think just the way the setup of our thing is the whole like low key thing doesn't exist as much because like you said, like we'll stream it and then people play and then like people are vocal about it, which you get on the Discord and it will automatically on the Discord itself become like more than what it is. I'm just like, can we be as thingy in all like the aspects of it? That's my thing. Like, I don't for me like it's not like an issue. Like I don't think it's just I think it's an improvement we can make that is like takes like no time whatsoever. That like hey like even with the thing like we dropped the low key one because then what we don't want is then like someone buys the game, it's like sees all the like chatter in the thing and it's like, oh wait, what the fuck, I can't jump, can't do it. So like yeah, it's just it's a minute thing, but if I was a customer, for me it would go a long way. That's the perspective I'm looking at it. Like I've just paid £20 for this thing and I don't know about the low key releases, I don't know about what you're doing. I'm in essence just buying your game. And I get the Discord, I see demo downloads popped off. I download the thing, and what's my impression of it is that's how I'm viewing as it. You know what I mean? Because that will be because even looking at it, that will be what a lot of the newer people are seeing too. Just like from a customer perspective, how can we just improve that for them? Like that's purely how I'm viewing it.
But there is a slight disconnect there because at the moment when you buy the game from the website, you don't have access to this version. This version you go access only if you are a backer. So the disconnect is even worse than that because we are still selling 011. So the first thing that they will see when they buy the game is 011, which is a completely different game essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too bogged down with it. I think, I think, for the actual, for 012 and everything, I think let's take some time this week to fully, to organize the release structure. Like, I guess for this like this next pre-test, let's before we fully like push it with the message on it. Well, to be fair, it's out now. Like this, it's not. People are aware. There's no point in doing a thingy now. Because people have spoken about it in the chat, like that's what they'll see. But yeah, let's like fix those bugs. And I think next time we drop it, let's just have a bit of a hey, next updates with physics jumps and test it out, see how you find it. And this is the changes control wise, just so you know, so you don't have to faff around with whatever. And we'll go into it. But again, it's just a minute thing. He doesn't really. For this, I don't think it affects much. I'm just, trying to make sure that going forward, we're just always, operating at like the most organized way.
So my idea is that in order to reach a certain level, I think you should be able to play the game by just using the game and not just because I think like having the control scheme as a random text file on Discord, I think that really feels the game is not really ready because you need to rely on a random text file on Discord, right?
That I don't disagree, but I think it's difficult to give people an updated version with changes to controls and not inform them of that. That to me doesn't make like, you know what I mean? Like I think that is just what I'm saying is that if an incremental build changes, but that change isn't reflected, the playing experience is going to be hampered and people won't know why. And I think that is all I'm getting at. Just like, can we mitigate the impact of people's perception of like, because you could think like, and if they say this feels like yada yada yada, and then we say, oh, actually just don't, it's like, okay, cool. It's like, well, actually, that could just have been bypassed. That whole thing would have been bypassed by just 5 seconds of like prior communication or just a slight, like, is it like a little Discord message? And that, from a consumer perspective, I think is that, like, that those 5 seconds are what we will like, is like, it doesn't matter, is actually can actually be quite valuable and can help, because I always say, like, these incremental test builds are incremental to us, but as far as the blackers are knowing, it's a whole new build. You know what I mean? So that first minute of like, oh, 0.12.1 came out and 0.12.2 came out, but now you can't arm jump. The arm grabs are different. They're gonna be broken, but they don't know that. And then like, oh, the strides are moved and all the just little stuff like that for someone that's played the very previous version is just a slight thing. Like, it's so small that, like, that's why I said, like, now I'm not really.
Yes, I know that, but we haven't released this version yet officially.
No, but I think that's the we have though. Like, and I think that's the, because like I think people are active enough. People that will play the game, even if it's 10 people. I think that's enough for them to care about that experience. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's one guy, right? I think that one guy should still, like, for them, it should still be as just a smooth experience. No, like, what the fuck changed? I can't figure it out.
I know, but they will never have a smooth experience until we release the game finally. So, like,
yeah, but like, that's not. I'm not debating that. What I'm what I'm saying is, how can we mitigate,
which we don't think of? Yeah,
sure. But that's fine when we don't think of it, right? Like, but I think the things that we're aware of is just like, do you mean like the first thing when I got my phone, it was like, oh, did we like actually update them on the controls? That was just the first thing that popped in my head, and I was like, oh, we didn't. And that, I think, is just like it's like a nothing, but it is like a, oh, like, hey guys, you released the thing, like, we did see it, like, we are active in the Discord, like, well, what are the controls? And it just, like, even though it takes a second for us to tell you, oh, the strides are moved, having to ask the question is worse than, you know what I mean? Like, I think like that's the difference. Just the fact you had to ask what is the change is when, like, what's changed really isn't like we moved from right bumper to right trigger. Like, you figuring that out wasn't part of what we're like, you know what I mean? So that different, like, that is just like a,
yeah. They never saw the right bumper. They had that. They just pressed jump and they did the stride and pliers, right?
oh yeah, but like yeah.
But
I'm generally not talking about like behaviors in general. I'm just talking about like the coherence of when we drop even a small thing. Just is that packaged all like in a way that's like, yeah, cool, give it to them, like, and they don't have to ask a million questions about
no, but they
how
will
do I
ask.
do this? Instead it's like, hey,
Well,
let me actually look at behavior.
But they will ask a million questions because
Yeah, but
they you present a new stuff, some new features, and they will ask a million questions.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, so some things, right? Some things like the arm grab, for example, people just got, right. They didn't have to. No one said what the arm, like. I don't even know if it's in the control sheet. So even if they didn't read it, they just got, right. So something like that, if you're trying to see like, oh, does this thing fit right? But I think something like just moving a thing, it like we said, it just takes, it's such a tiny changelog. It takes 25 seconds. But I think, like, I'm looking at it from a consumer because they paid money for this.
Sure,
It's a small thing that goes a long way, I think.
I agree that, but I wanted to put the changelog after you made your changes on the.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's yeah. I think yeah, I think those that's fine. If that's the case, that's all good. I think then in that
because
yeah, that's all good then. Yeah,
I really want to push ourselves and really stick to more frequent updates. Because that will really push us to, just do things more frequently in a way.
No, 100%. Yeah,
I didn't
I,
want
I
to,
I agree.
because it's so easy to say, oh no, just one other thing, and then it's like 2 months, right? And then we are constantly changing. Instead, it's almost like I don't know, like when you do a cold shower, like shit, okay, now I have to
No,
do it.
100%. But that for me is like that cold shower. Like all of that can all still be done whilst presenting and maintaining the organization like that like we don't have to sacrifice that. And what I'm saying is, in the same way we want to improve and do that, we can also improve that aspect of it too. Like, I think it
For
should
sure,
be
yeah.
what we should be doing, actually, realistically, is as and when we make changes, like documenting them, just putting it somewhere in a change log, so that when we go ahead and do whatever, it's just like boom. We don't even need to do anything. The change log is already ready, boom, to go. If people want to read it, they can. If they don't, they want to play in whatever, it's fine. But that's already there. Like, it's
Yeah.
I'm really not against getting the builds out more frequently. I'm just, we are, the way we've marketed everything, it is very public facing, and so at the end of the day, we still have to maintain that, like, organization, that coherence, that transport, like that communication throughout everything. And like, I think it's a little thing that won't necessarily matter as much, but will go a long way. That is such a, like, again, like, I don't think it's a huge like problem for this one. Like you said, you were waiting for my change log, and so I think that's fine. But I think, in fact, what realistically, the correct behavior is that my changes go in a different test build. Like, I think that is actually the correct behavior. So that, I think that's what we improve. Because what should have happened is we released 1.2 with whatever the current was, and then tonight, again, when I'm back and I make the changes, we release 0.3. And I think that is the improvement, as opposed to I'll wait till this thing comes and then it's like, nah, screw it. I'm just going to drop this one here now, drop a change log, say this is what's up. If in 3 hours later we do another one, that's fine. But each one feels really organized in itself, even though it's just like, even though like one thing may change in the change log, but just say, oh, okay, new update, reduce jump. Like, so now all of a sudden I say new update, updated jump, power, which is what I'm gonna, like, this next update I'll do tonight will literally be like, cool, new update, updated the jump parameters. Like,
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the change log, it's a lot. It looks something very, very simple and quite pain free to do, but I think I think it's not. There is a lot of consideration that goes into a change log, because you need
but I
to.
think that's fine. Yeah, like, it doesn't need to be this big thing. I generally think you're overcomplicating what I'm trying to get at. I'm just talking about the minute, like, details that we can just improve in the next this very next one, to just keep on improving our process. Because, like, I think if at any point we just say, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Like, it's just that, like, how can even these incremental builds get better in the release of them? You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, what did we find in this one that, because it's not a case of saying like, we should. It's just like, okay, in this incremental test build, people are asking questions that really could have been answered, fairly easily. So let's just, the next time, it's like, okay, let's just improve that section. Say, okay, like, if we change something with a quick turnaround that is quite, like, and we don't reflect it in the control scheme, like, let's just make a note of it whenever we drop it. That's just like, and
Yeah.
because
I mean,
and the problem was a
yeah,
reflection because we were waiting too much to push an additional version. So actually, the next improvement is to say that additional version is a whole different build, and instead we do things faster and even more incrementally.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is very good. That is very good. Very good practice to have, right? And then
That's literally it. I've no other. It's not like a. That's literally all I'm. All again. There's nothing else to that. Like, it's just just. I just looked at it from a consumer's perspective. I'd be like, oh, it'd be nice if you guys did this.
So
I was like, okay,
my
let's do it.
my thoughts about in particular, right? The like to concretize this thing, right? In particular, so for me, the control scheme, we need to get to a point in which we don't have to even do it.
Yeah, 100%.
But that will require quite, some substantial work. Well, it does and it does not, because it's now that we have mapped pretty much everything on the enhanced input thingy. I think like we need to we need to have everything inside the game. So and I think that is where we need to, slowly, but we need to push towards that towards that outcome. Otherwise, it's if we think that we got only very few people playing the game now, but when we start selling it properly, then we have 10,000 100,000 people playing the game, and we cannot send text file or change logs. Like everything in the game needs to be there in the game. So we need to start that process of making the game self-explanatory and and self-contained in a way, right? So, but it won't happen tonight, of course, or the next month. But I think that is the path that I wanna, our trajectory should be. That okay, you just install the game and you have fun. You don't need any extra information at all, right? But and of course,
I agree.
it's
Yeah,
always
100%.
nice to chat on the Discord. Oh, how can I possibly do this? How can I do that? That is cool, right? It's
Yeah, but
how
like
you get the community.
for me, it's annoying to get like, how do I try it again?
Oh, I
what's
mean,
the
yeah, I
stride
mean,
now?
no, okay.
That is just like what?
Sure, no, yeah, but in
Yeah,
this
that's
specific
just what I want
instance,
to
yeah.
get rid of. Just the
Sure,
redundant,
yeah.
silly
In this
questions.
specific instance, we changed the mapping for the strides. Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I
That's
mean,
literally that's all I was
yeah,
getting at.
it's
Like
leap,
just the
yeah,
redundant, silly ones that are like,
yeah.
or like, yeah, that's literally it. But yeah, let's get on to the fixes then. So I've wound back the power and the I mean, also the power's a little low now. To be fair, that's way too low. You don't really go far. And it's not even that much more. That's the irony of it all. So I'm intrigued as to what is even the. We didn't change it by like a tiny amount. Because it's not even much. Like, I really get up. That's fine. Okay, cool. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Okay, I think the first thing is the camera. I mean, I've gone back to a thingy of one. Let's see how that will feel in a build. I'm unsure why when I press down, my character teleports back to the start. That seems like a problem as well. I don't know why that is. the running jumps are scaled back what that max power is. So now you're not making any of these crazy ones like that. Which is fair enough, to be fair. Like, ironically, he just needs an animation where he sends it a bit more, and then all of a sudden they look less ridiculous. But yeah, let's push it with these changes. Oh, yeah. Let me grab your changes as well. Let me grab latest actually before I do anything. See, I've changed about like 50. I really haven't changed much. I love that though. Well, no, I've dropped that actually. Which I don't know about that. 600.
Okay.
Right, I might actually do a build. Well, let me play on this version, uh see what goes on, and then maybe do a build. Yeah, so I'm intrigued as to why when I played. I mean, let me play it. Firing up this version, pressing down teleports me. So I'm intrigued as to
Instead of
what
pressing
exactly.
up.
If I press down to move the camera in or out, like I tap it, it teleports me back.
Yeah.
So start. Very weird. Like that. What?
I don't
It
know.
doesn't do it in my editor version.
Okay, so I
Now,
think that is definitely the raw inputs, right?
yeah, I mean, if I kill this, let me kill DS for Windows. Interestingly, as well, that doesn't happen in no build. Okay, cool. Maybe because it does happen here like, for me as well. It might be something about my mapping. I need to speed up the fall of the pulse slide. That's another thing I'm noticing now, actually.
So you're using PS5 controller.
PS5 controller, no DS4 Windows now. Does what it
Okay, I
works.
mean, let me do it exactly the same.
My turning
So
is still quick, but
PlayStation 5 controller, not DS Windows. Um, on the package bid, right?
uh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. To be fair, some of the launches are a bit crazy, actually.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, he does go launch to the moon a little bit.
Gonna grab some water.
Yeah, he does get launched a bit crazy. To be fair, actually, I should know the fix for that. Yeah, what I can do It happens for you. Yeah, see. Yeah. What I'm gonna do, I think I actually know. Yeah, the flat ground jumps, bit kooky, not really been priority. Um, what I can do, I mean, so this is primarily the thing about the system is like configuring that behavior now is so. So interestingly, my controller doesn't work in editor. That is interesting. I mean, I think it's because I don't have the raw input plugin. Yeah. So if we are gonna use raw input, yeah, we gotta really debug. So that might be a different differentiator for me. So I need to test that out. If that's what the build version is having. So yeah, I'll see that now. Yeah, we'll get another build out today. I like the one of the beautiful things is that you're like, oh, jumps are way too floaty. It's like, yeah, cool. I can drop that in a heartbeat. You know, need more power on the thing. It's like, yeah, nice. A lot of this, just so you're aware, like a lot of this, like the animations are trying to do a lot of different things. So like some jumping off animations will be applied for jumping on the ground, and so rather than using one specific one that works for all, so we get more variation. So it's still just messing around with kind of how that behavior plays with it. So this one here we're seeing. So I think realistically, the 45-degree rotation. What do you mean by that? Right bumper locks the camera. Interesting. That shouldn't be the case. That safety landing on one of the guys' ones looks really dodgy.
Right. All right.
So I can't zoom out when I have raw input. So PS5 controller, no DS4 Windows, raw input. Zooming out doesn't work.
Okay, let me test. Is that on the package build, right?
No, just in my editor.
Ah, and on the package build?
What package build? It does, it seems, but I've not packaged it with this recent update. Because so now I've got raw input plugin activated.
Yeah, see, like this is
But
this
raw
is
input,
yeah.
raw like no DS for Windows PS5 controller. I get teleported back pressing that.
What the hell is that? I mean, and sorry, just the package version. I go PlayStation 5 controller. I can zoom in and out, right? And left and right. No?
Yeah, I can zoom in and out, but if I tap down, then I teleport.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. I go exactly the same behavior. Okay, so package bread, and then why you cannot zoom out or zoom in the editor?
Yeah, in the editor I can't zoom out. No.
Okay, let me test this configuration. So I got editor, no DS5, DS4. Let's start the editor. If you change the controller, you need to restart the editor. I think there is something that they do in the constructor of one of the static class that doesn't get reloaded, repick up. But if you can control everything else, but just not the zoom out, then I think it's another issue, really.
Yeah.
Laka.
I got SPP to open.
And
it was UDS that was crashing it.
Oh yeah, okay. The moon gravity is very moon gravity on normal ground, which makes sense.
Sorry,
that's fine though. No, because the jump you do compared to the launch you get doesn't align whatsoever, which makes sense. I'm actually that to me makes sense there, and you are kind of floaty. Yeah, that I've no. I'm guessing if you do this.
Okay, no, on mine it works in the editor too. It's actually, this control is very good. Okay, let's recap. So, okay, down is okay. Down and up is. Oh, you know what, David? Can you press right on the D-pad? Does it?
In what editor?
Yeah, in editor. Yeah.
No, it doesn't do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So right on the D-pad does exactly the same thing as down on the D-pad.
For you, not for
Yeah.
like I still can't. I've also pushed back the Well, I've done two changes. I've wound in the jump. She is a bit moony, to be fair. But I don't know if that is if it's a combination of the animation and like the transition to the full. Because if you did more of like a flaily one, I don't think that behavior would. But let me go as like as slow as I can, basically. That I still think I think that's too slow, too little. Yeah, to me that's just like nothing.
So guys, if you reapply USD, well, does it work?
Let me find out.
Max power on this guy. Really don't get that much further different.
Actually, tell you what, can you because I'm logged into the wrong Epic account and it's my private one again. So I'm gonna need. Can you send me the Let's get the password.
Yeah, 1 second. My wife has got my phone because she's playing a game. Let me wake up my wife. Now I'm, gonna be in danger here, guys, and it's gonna be your fault, okay?
I mean, to be fair, she doesn't. You don't have to go now. You could do
No?
it Sunday or Monday or something.
I mean, it's better now than at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Okay, I go now. But remember, that is your fault, okay?
Okay.
If you don't hear me back, you know why.
I want it on record now. I'm not being held responsible if he dies.
There's the standing rotation, as in, what do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean there. If you able to explain what do you mean by standing rotation? As in, like turning while you're standing still, because that currently isn't in. That will be in though, but it's not in right now. Oh, that's not actually in. To be honest, while in strafe mode, you really shouldn't even lock the camera. I don't know why it does it. Yeah, that turn in place isn't in. So yeah, if you're trying to do it, I've completely disabled turn in place. So why is that? I can't even use the control scheme. What's going on? See, this is yeah. That's what I mean. Like, there's too many. Like, I can't even do shit. Okay, so in the menu, I lose all control. Hmm. No, I've taken I've taken that out at the moment. There's some susness with it. I'm not sure about redo it, to be honest. I think it needs to just be on your camera access, quite frankly, um, as opposed to that input. But yeah, there's a load of control shit that isn't. Yeah, I'm not sure about these launches on the normal jumps. If I'm totally frank, I don't think it makes sense. They don't really make sense to me, to be honest. I'm gonna um, completely honest. I don't think they make sense. On those guys, they do, but I mean, I think a lot of this is primarily animation wise because he like hangs in that pose and then does like a really weird fall, so it looks really dodgy to be honest. So I think a more active pose is actually primarily the reason. Like it's almost like if you think of a dude just going like T posing up and landing, it's gonna look ridiculous. But if you see a dude like, because when he jumps, because it's weird because the floatiness looks like that when you're on the ground, but when you're in the air, it doesn't look like that. It looks very good. Um, so I think it's not actually the launch. I think it's just the behavior that when you're on the ground doing it, that parabola is off. So that's yeah. We can wind that back in now. So I have no issue. Let's see what the standing jump. Again, I mean, so that's max distance. That's far, but I want you to be able to do bigger gaps. I can rein that back in, but I don't have one where he really sends it on a standing jump. But I don't want you to be limited by the animation. That's really the point of this thing. Um, is to get away from animation driving movement. Um, because if you're in here and you're doing a standing pre, it's gonna look dodgy. Because it's almost like it also takes off really weirdly. Yeah. It's just not something I've actually put much work into. Was like this the stuff on like flat ground where there's nothing happening because I grabbed that. Okay. So this is a max power jump. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was supposed to make the and doing 90 attack because that is still possible. Let's see.
I think I'm stressing Dad out.
Well,
Oh, I didn't realize you were in the call. I thought you were in the other room on your phone.
no.
The fact you're able to do it is interesting because
Was I stressing you out there, Dad?
I can't even turn the camera.
No, I'm still alive.
Excellent.
So Dada, what's the status with the controls here? With the
Um,
controls, sorry, the with the raw input, because raw input is just seems like it's an
yeah,
absolute nightmare.
raw input is absolute joke. Um, I don't know. It looks to me one of those things that is very configuration dependent, because the thing that I really hate is that we got different behaviors in three different machines, right? You
Yeah,
go a behavior, go another behavior, guns go another behavior. Um, okay, so to recap, right? I want to limit the amount of third party dependencies that you need to have to play the game, right?
yeah,
Uh,
but raw
yeah.
input's not stable for us to be testing it right now. That's the issue. Because I
Yeah,
can't,
so
I don't know what's really going on right now. So
um can we fix the I don't even know if is the raw input the problem. That is
but it is because if I go raw input off and I stick on DS for Windows, my shit works like a charm. I don't have any of the problems in editor at least, but because one thing to me, obviously you built this with the raw input active, but when I play an editor, I've got no raw input DS for Windows, and that plays like a charm. And then if I go to Xbox controller, plays like a charm too. So now if I go no raw input with DS for Windows now, let's see how it plays. Because if
Also,
that's the pipe that we have to be
sorry.
able to test other stuff, that's cool. And then see, I mean, nah, I can't even turn my freaking. Okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
I can't add UDS back now because um it's not made for 5.4. So through the launcher, it doesn't let me add it.
you can download it from.
I mean, yeah, I could just drop the folder in, I guess, but
Why
I'm
isn't it
just gonna have the
saying
same
launch?
issues as before, no?
Oh no, I mean we don't have the issue, right?
I'll try it in a sec.
My shit is just not picking up anything. What's going on? Yeah, the jumping on flat, like I said, is gonna be very off. I've put near enough zero attention to it. One of the things I'm finding intriguing here is standing pre's because I want you to be able to do a bigger one. Um, you really aren't going far with this. Um, let's do this. I might build myself. And put a thing on with my configuration input wise. I don't know. Mine just seems very stable. Uh,
Yeah, but if you don't build with raw input, then people need to get DS for Windows.
I immediately get the same crash back when I add UDS in.
You did get the same crash.
Yep.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's weird that it hasn't kicked in for you guys though.
Yeah.
All 50s the max. Interesting.
Oh, this is another cool milestone. We got 500,000 likes on TikTok.
Large velocity limits. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
So, David, what was the issue with the super sensitivity?
Um, well, I don't know. I think it was a combination of the raw input and the and the DS for Windows acted together. I've dropped the look rate back to just one time a scalar.
Uh,
It feels more stable in my version now. To be fair.
so I think if the issue is that you need to disable DS for Windows when using raw input, yeah, maybe I can understand that, right? It's like probably they fight each other and they make a mess, right? So that's acceptable. The problem is that if raw input doesn't work itself.
Yeah, it's being sus.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, very sus. Yeah, let's go into 1.5 times it, which makes sense because that automatically gets clamped to a min, which does make sense, especially if 1.5 times that is not equal to whatever that max power is. So, makes sense. Yeah, so let's do the minimum velocity for a launch on this guy. Looks like that. I'm happy with that. That looks like looks like a pretty mundane, nonchalant standing jump. And then the max velocity of 450 currently does that. I guess it's alright. It's not. I'd low key want it to be a little bit bigger, I think, but I want it to be bigger, but you need to. 450, I guess I can live with. Yeah. I guess you really want to be able to scale it a bit more, actually. um, Yeah, what I could do is to be fair, because they say we're at that is at 500 or something, or minimum that is that's 1.5. Makes sense. The max is as a percentage of your min over your max, isn't it? Realistically, is what you can scale it up to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one you get sent to the moon. To be fair. Yeah. That's fair enough. Looks like you take off way too late. Way too early, it seems. Yeah, way too early. Hold on, let me tweak that. Ah, dummity dum dum. There you go. That's correct. I was wondering what was bugging out of it. That's a more correct takeoff time. Now, the power you got, your max power is a bit cuckoo. That's your minimum power, really. The smallest jump you can do, really, is this. I don't mind. I could just scale that back, but I see, yeah, that I'm going whatever. And the biggest you can do seems huge, but I get it's huge, right? And there we want to you launch a bit more, but to be fair, I can't wind that back. Maybe that was a bit much. I mean, 600 on the big one. Yeah, so you're not making that huge jump there. It's fairs. But you can, to be fair. I'll make it that you can. And then you get the right animation, you can make that. I mean, I'm interested to see why people love doing this jumping like around, which was a behavior that we'd never seen before. But I'm guessing it's potentially because there's a lot of room, so it's something. I think it's primarily an animation issue. This one, the animation just looks very off. Um, that I can get behind. I need to get rid of that wall slide. Completely problematic. I need to add the arm jump properly. I need to do them properly. That animation is so dodgy. I don't know what animation it is. There's a little dodgy. There's a dodginess that I don't quite. I'm here and I hold a bit of power. Yeah, I mean the flag ground ones are. It's also, yeah, it's definitely the foot. Like I think the weirdness for the flag ground is actually very because he's not actually doing anything crazy. I think it's just the animation that makes it look funny because he goes like this and just like stays still for a very long time. I think a flat ground jump like that, you need to be a lot more animated to make it not look like you are just gliding in there. If I like just tap, because here you need to do a smaller jump, like a little. I mean, this isn't too off actually. No, he needs to break that, but again, that needs to be a different animation. So that I'm aware of. Let's scale it back. To be fair, it doesn't fall, does he? Ah, that is one thing to. Ah, he doesn't fall, you know. Interesting. There he does, but there he doesn't. That's interesting. Um, well, I think I want to do a build in a sec. I also really need to speed up that slide speed. It's just way too slow. I slowed it down drastically, to be fair, so that you would actually be in the slide for longer. Because, yeah, well, yeah, but it's way too slow now. Yeah, that's way better. Look how much better that is. You see? So these are the things that I like. I can just play around with values and completely change what your gameplay. Like, yeah, that slide has way more speed to it. Jesus, way better, way better. Yo, he flies. Yo, hold up. That's way better. Though. That's way better. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. Nice. Okay, that actually looks really nice. Yeah. Okay, now it's playing right. This is playing right. See, there he's got a crane. That's fine. Okay. So there, I think we need to now start doing. So this he gets absolutely heated because I've got max power, which is basically launch at the very high speed at which you can. I think what you potentially need to just do is just have it as a. The one thing I like about this is that your speed kind of sets your base, and then there is a maximum that you can jump from it. So the faster you run, the bigger your base will be, and then you kind of will, because you could sprint to a certain point, right, and then scaling the jump up from that will look wrong, but what I might have it do is, yeah, because the jump would need to, in essence, be launched at the velocity of your run in order for it to not look stupid. Yeah, so what I might have it do is have that jump still aligned with your velocity in order to generate the min. Because your velocity there generates the max of 600, so you launch just at what the biggest thing you can do. But I think actually it needs to be, you can launch at 1.5, whatever your velocity's at, as opposed to whatever this like minimum clamp value is. And your max changes depending on what your speed of movement is. So it's like your thing is always just then a scalar of your speed, as opposed to like it's between these two values, and your input speed kind of drives that and determines that. Because currently it's basically, if you jog and then jump, you will end up just going max speed, like the base behavior. So you can hold and launch, it wouldn't really do much. But it's just because, like, a launch at that velocity, this is the thing, like, humans are kind of bound that you can run at crazy speed, but doesn't mean you can launch at like that kind of velocity. It's a bit, you'll just fly like crazy. So you kind of have to limit that a little bit. But I think something like this, with the right animation and the forward upwards force, you'll be able to make it. Because currently is just all about forward velocity, and we launch you at an angle so that you don't, like, if you like, you're not going to jump and launch yourself up a 65-degree angle. It just looks ridiculous. So we've got to maintain that accurate jump angle. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, this all looks good to me. Okay, let's check this out. Let's have you guys play this one.
I mean, if you give it like half hour, I'm just adding some more gameplay elements to the level because there's so much missing at the moment.
In terms of what? And are there materials?
No, I'm doing it in the same style like the prop grid material.
Oh, okay, cool.
And just literally just like things for them to play on.
Okay, well, let me get a build going on my end to make sure control wise it's controls, because I've tested on my thing the different setups. So PlayStation controllers will need DS for Windows, but that's fine. And then I've got my Xbox controller, which works regardless of it. But yeah, I do struggle to navigate that freaking menu. Let's kill this dude. Let's play. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, plays all fine with an Xbox controller. Camera isn't crazy. Why that guy? Because I'm always torn to think that the normal jump on the ground is like a very like I don't know, it's very dependent on, but you should also I guess it should also theoretically follow the same logic as the and rather than launch, you should just jump like you normally would. Like rather than doing that, just do a jump. Because I don't think it makes much sense to like for what reason is he doing that? Like I mean he's just being shit for the sake of it. Yeah, I mean to be honest, I could just let's try this actually. Standing pre, slightly different story. I can get behind that being yeah, the standing pre is a bit crazy, but I don't really mind that. I don't mind you being able to jump pretty far with it. Again, animation kind of drives that. I don't mind that. It's just like, actually, what's yours? It's actually just a terrible animation. Frankly, it's really not a good animation. Ironically, um, only one that will get triggered in that scenario. It really is. Oh, it's a pretty bad animation to be honest. Let's do this guy. Yeah, that's way better. There you go. His animation is also pretty shit, but it is better. It's dog, but it does the job, kind of thing. I'm not sure what this dude to be honest. Tug must have done a better job than this guy. Quickly add. Alright, I mean, yeah, I can see that standing jump animation is off. To be fair, that one I have no real qualms about. I think for a normal jump, really, the power should just that should influence. what jump you do, as opposed to um yeah the as opposed to exactly how much you launch, because you're not like launching anyway. You're not doing anything to anything. It's just like a immediate thing. Whereas, but the fact that the behavior isn't consistent across all of them might be the area which it gets confusing. Um, he's gonna make that surely. See, the climb is still 600. So I think it's really gotta be. The issue is if we just say launch at the velocity in which you're running, sometimes you're gonna get some crazy animations. Actually, we could do that. Like say, using the wrong controller. Fair. Yeah, I guess the primary reason is that the yeah, because that's when you want to get a bit more power. I guess then actually could just say it's a scalar of whatever you're doing up to 50%, 20%, up to 50% more power. Only thing is there, you will get some jumps that are a bit crazy. Maybe that's a better way of doing it. That's what I've got now. Is you can scale it by up to 50% of what you're doing. Yeah, which is really, this is what I've got going on now. Yeah, you can scale up to 50% of what you're doing. So yeah, you can scale it by up to 50%. This literally what's going on with the power thing. So you can scale it by up to 50% up to a certain point. Now all we just have to really do be able to raise that certain point. Um, right. Well, the difference is the stage jump is different though because you can scale it more. Uh, I guess what it needs to be that we just have to Yeah, just have a create a value for that. I can just add is into that struct is float, like maximum power scale. So you guys can't see my screen even, so you know what I'm doing. This gun, I want to make it relative to
All right.
like this, right? Otherwise, 0.5. Then what we can do then, so that's still clamped to the maximum value. And then what we can say is in this guy, we can shift this max way higher. So this could be something like 900 for we care. But what we're saying is we're taking our base speed and we can give itself up to 50% more boost based on the power input we have. But this guy, the max power scale you can have is going to be relative from the minimum to max, because the standing jump we do it on a specific scale as opposed to based on your speed, because obviously you're just standing still. Whereas your other one is your speed. So if you're moving slow, you can have 50% more power of that slow speed. So your movement speed does actually play quite a big effect. And then the second thing to decide on really is to weight not necessarily your average velocity to your like jump velocity, which we already do. So I'm gonna check this in a minute, and then I'm gonna build this. Make sure this builds out. Put it on the Discord.
I'm just testing all the little bits I've added in quick, just to make sure none of them have any like weird glitch and hitches or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the stream numbers, um, basically you can see here. So we have this like base. So the way it is now is you can give where the setup before was I had it to be at to 50%. So you could have at max power. So from tap would be 0 power, which would just do your jump velocity would be your launch velocity, right? So the speed at which you're moving would be the speed at which you launch. And a hold and release, you could scale your power up to a max of 1, right? And then that would scale it, an additive scale of your speed up to whatever that clamp was. So in this case, 50%, right? What you're seeing, the issue is though, the actual range you could jump in, because our animations are quite limited, they're like 2, I think this series. So you could sprint for all you want, God dear life. You'll still not jump not very far. Primarily because I clamp it quite heavily. Because jumping, for example, like if I launch you at, let's just say it's starting velocity at 900 or whatever, and your actual movement speed is because you scaled 700 by 1.3 or some shit, like, right, we don't have an animation that will launch you reasonably applied to that. So then your guy will jump like this, but then he will absolutely get sent to the moon. Now you could make it animation dependent, but that's a like launch based on the launch velocity, like scalar of the animation, and then you can say, okay, what's the scalar value there, and then make that realistic. But then you fall back into the trap of it being like, well, I then need to have enough animation coverage to, in essence, do all of that. What I've done now is just separate the maximum power scale from that limiter, and raised it. So now you can. So now it's in essence the same, but the standing jumps, their power scale is now calculated based off the flat values that we give, because obviously you're standing and you don't have any speed value, so we generate ourselves. And then this one is done the same, so you are still given that extra 50%. But that 50% is, again, you can scale it up to a max of that 50% or half of that 50%, or whatever it is. But then that 50% we can control how much of a scaler you want. And I now raise the clamp. So if I like go max here, you see I can launch myself at 763. Now the animation may not align, but the logic of it is more sound. So you might see more floatiness, and it's the physics is fine, but he won't do the jump that you're expecting to see for the jump that you are doing, like, primarily because it's like, imagine him. It's why the jump on the ground looks so weird, because he was doing this little step. Like, this is the jump he was doing. Oh, not even this one. He was doing, which one was he doing? He was doing this, right? He was doing this tiny jump, and so this is the actual how far Toby jumps at animation, which is one step. But we were launching him at your velocity, which was like huge. So he would literally be doing a one-step animation, but getting sent to the moon, basically. So it's fine if you launch him at the animation's velocity. That's all good. So like for these like normal jumps we're here, it's like, okay, just play the pretty animation, do your thing. But then when we're up here, like you're jumping off things, jumping across things, really your speed is now, the driving force. I mean, play around with this next version. I mean, I could talk about it all day long. It doesn't really matter if that doesn't translate well to you guys. So, because you can see here he'll get absolutely rocketed. There he won't. He just hasn't built up enough speed. It just depends how much of that power additively we can do it. I went away from making the power a vertical power. Instead, I calculate your vertical launch based on your scaled horizontal launch, so that we can preserve an angle of launch, because you don't jump. It's weird because if you want to jump further, in essence, you do jump higher. But like your angle of launch, like you won't just scale how high you jump. Like, we don't ever want a case of you're jumping like that. And the more you raise that angle against the animation, the more weird it will look. So that's quite like a disconnect there that I don't really think will ever look good. But we can push you further, which in turn will push you higher. And yeah, I'll just raise the clamp, and so the jumps might look a bit more like floaty, or not floaty, but a bit more like poof, which in turn will make it more floaty, but it will be more driven. So like if I tap now, he'll do like a little one, which is the minimum of 400, because anything less than that just looks a bit stupid. So like if I, so he'll do that. So basically that's the, if you're like walking and I tap, that's the lowest you'll jump, basically 400. That's what it's clamped at. And if I'm walking and I launch myself, ironically, it doesn't go very far. Let's see here. So still, yeah. So ironically, what's happened there is that your scalar of your low speed still doesn't exceed the minimum, because we clamp it to max 0.5. So your speed is really the determining factor in what it will be, because your speed is something that we can control in a much more deterministic sense, as opposed to like your launch power and angle and stuff. Yeah, no, so exactly that. That's there is a big disconnect between, and that the standing jumps are a tricky one, because especially on flat ground, they will look dodgy because the two don't sync up like there. So he'll get launched. I mean, to be like, he'll get launched like like a bit of a missile. Yeah, because like I said, the what the animation is jumping, what he's doing. So this is when we'll need more data to be able to launch. Okay, you're powering this up, really jump far. You know what I mean? Like bigger standing jumps, and that's when the variation animation will play a key role. But I think for now that isn't the thing. The thing is, like, can you deterministically jump further by building power, and jump less by tapping, but the base behavior still aligns very well. So like this is like, if I just jog and I tap, my base behavior should really line up with what my velocity is, which is what it does now, pretty much now consistently. So if I jog and I tap, I do that. If I like walk and I start to accelerate and I tap, I do that. So all good. So if you just ignore the concept of the power and just play, all fine. The fall also is very slow, especially for an animation like that. The fall does lag quite a bit, and then it has quite a harsh and sharp transition back to locomotion. So those two together don't complement each other well. But yeah, I need you to be able to, logic wise, to like stand here, right? Move to the edge of this guy and say, oh, okay, hold on, let me not do that. Let's climb back up here. Like stand here, step to the edge of this dude, and then if I tap, I'm not doing a standing jump, excuse me, sir. Yeah, and then if I tap, do a little jump and undershoot, and then if I say, actually, you know what, I want to do this standing pre again, but this time make it and stick on the edge, hold a little longer, and do that. So that is the behavior that you need to be able to do to be able to make it. So now I can say, okay, you know what, hold, release. Okay, I overcooked it, so maybe now I need to actually just tap, release, bang. You see? So that logic is the key there. So if I tap and do this, okay, I actually made it quite okay. Well, so there you go. Like, but it's like deterministic, right? So I can go full force, stick that guy, tap this dude, stick that guy. But if I turn around, go full force here, I'll overshoot. So like, you know what I mean? So it's the control is what we're after. It may look off with the animation, but which I guess for you guys is hard to disconnect the two, like how it looks versus how it like controls. But that is the main thing I'm trying to see. Like this challenge here, can you vary your power in order to land on top of this low edge? You know, like can you jump? Wait, let me set a session. You run, jump, undercook it, get back up, run, put a little bit more power in, overcook it, be like, okay, cool. Run, put a little less power, undercook it again, and be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to put too much more power and then pull back. I'll grab it. More power, pull back. Fucking hell. Stick. But like those tries are like you're compensating different ways. I overcooked it, underdid it, overdid it. And then obviously when you've got UI and stuff to tell you how much power you're giving it, and like you've got more, like the motion matching is more responsive, so you've got a better sense of speed. That is when it all come together. Yeah, no, so, like something like that. It's to me, that's fine. Like again, like if the animation doesn't sync up with it, that makes complete sense. But that is a animation problem that won't affect. It might affect like how clean the animation looks, but gameplay wise, you can still adjust your things.
David.
Mm-hmm.
Did we remove the? I think I fixed the D-pad thing, but did we remove the turn in place thing?
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, it was. I had some bugs. Yeah, I didn't bring it back. I can bring it back now in a sec. Hold on. Yeah, I'm still intrigued about that turn in place. Part of me wonders if when you're in precision mode, you just turn with the camera. But I don't know. Let me add the turn in place. Let me
Is
add
it
it
now?
back. It was doing something weird when you were falling. That was super dodgy. I should have just made it so you don't do it while you were falling. But
does it turn the camera now with the turn in place?
well, no, it doesn't. I just literally commented out the binding. Let me bring it back in.
Okay, so I fixed. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, okay, but I know why it is bugging out. Let me just give me a sec. So I think the D-pad should be okay. Just let me check something here. What the fuck is this?
Because yeah, I honestly I think for precision mode, when you're holding it, you should be able to turn the camera, and as you turn the camera, your character, that's what rotates your character, and he just rotates to face the direction of your character, the direction of your camera.
Yes, I think it should rotate the camera too. But
yeah, like it should rotate the camera, and he's just turning to face that, rather than he's turning.
I had it right that you rotate the camera, right? I mean, you rotate the camera and the character, of course. Otherwise, yeah, it's
Yeah, it needs to do that. That's literally it.
But
I mean, I think the only bug I had is that I think if I stand still, maybe it's just. I had some bugs when I was falling where he would just like.
there is a strange
Yeah, like that. It's super dodgy.
jittery thing when he was going. Sometimes the idols are like very
Yeah, they snap right back
Yeah,
into it, isn't
snap
it?
that right there. Yeah, it's pretty wide there. I mean, that turning place is not a big deal if we don't have it, but yeah, just
Yeah, I don't know. I just for me, it introduces a couple problems that I've noticed versus how I actually see it being used.
because it's only if
I
you
generally
press
think he just the character just rotates, even if it looks like weirdly shit. I think he just rotates to face, and then we can get it so that he's always facing, but his feet and stuff are doing different things, like rotating to.
so it's only if you press the right bumper, right? Otherwise, it's not activated, right?
Why does it do this double? It's like a double. That's dodgy as hell. You see, he starts the standing jump and then transitions out.
Have
Really
you
weird.
changed it so we can't do descents anymore?
What is that about?
Say again,
Did I
Glenn?
change it so you can't do what?
The descents, when you let go of a hang and then grab the arm jump on the way down, doesn't work anymore.
I did not.
It like doesn't
In
let me grab. I don't know. Let me show my screen.
no, descent still work.
So weird.
Yeah, but if you're using whatever build we gave to them, that shit's broken for sure.
No. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm in editor.
Yeah,
so
like if you my version works a charm. I'm gonna build mine in a minute. I don't know with whatever controller, like, because I ain't got no raw input on mine, and no raw input, no problems. You know what I mean? That is my philosophy.
yeah, just. Well, I'll leave them there, and if they don't work on yours, then delete them. But everything else I've checked, and everything else works. So what I'll do, I'll check this in, and then yeah, if those descents don't work on yours, just get rid of them.
But how can you check it in if you don't have UDS?
I mean, I'll add back in UDS. Oh no, yeah, I'll add back in UDS, and then check
Wait,
in
what
the
do you
level
mean?
changes. Does it?
Wait, what did you check in to gameplay or?
No, I haven't checked. No, this would be in the game replay, but I haven't checked in yet because there are only level changes.
Yeah, but the level changes are this level is in the plugin branch. It's not in the game.
Oh, oh, I didn't know that. Fair enough.
No, can I make this?
Changes are on.
Yes, I see there. Right, 900
yeah.
freaking velocity.
So these
You
changes are on.
just go into the moon. I just don't have a jump that will make that not look stupid.
The thing is, in my outline, it still says Ultra Dynamic Sky is there, so the reference is still there. So surely, I haven't removed it from the level, which means if I
I just
check
clamp
this
it
in and you guys
700
pick
to
it up, you would just have the new boxes and stuff in place. No.
Wow.
Okay, the
Not
slides are much
really
better.
sure.
I'm gonna clamp this.
That for sure is gonna trigger a lot of warnings in the build, I guess.
Same. Okay. What do you want me to do with it?
Well,
I could make it. I could make it a duplicate level without without UDS in it.
What did, can I? What did you show your screen?
Just added a lot more gameplay stuff that people can actually use.
I wanna.
Let me know when you're in, by the way.
We need to get. We cannot have different versions. The fact that you don't have UDS, it will. It will make all weird reference and stuff. So, yeah, you need to try to align to the repo version.
Yeah, so all I've added is just like bits for people to use. So a little like thread the needle challenge, thread the needle hoops,
No, I know
slide.
that, but
No, David was asking what I've added.
right, but that's
No, I know I need to get up to hoops back.
I'm gonna try your build actually.
Vault freeze. Yeah, it's just a lot of gameplay element. So if I can get no, but I'm never going to be able to get UDS in without it crashing. And even if I find whatever it is in UDS that's causing the problem, I'll still have to delete it. Surely the bigger issue is that UDS isn't up to date for 5.4. So arguably you guys shouldn't have it. Not that
Works for me,
guys, but we shouldn't be using it, I mean. Yeah, and it worked for me for days.
Why isn't it working for you now?
I don't know. It just decided to not work today.
As in, like, so what's happening that it's not working?
So last time I was on it, it was all working. I was in and out multiple levels. I was on the back testing level, and it was fine. Checked it all in. It was all good. Pulled latest today, jumped on, and I kept. So it builds correctly, loads up the editor, and crashes at 95%, and I get that error I put in our little group chat. I have discarded my changes. I've reverted my commits. Not just reverted, I've completely destroyed them, so they don't exist anymore. I rolled back versions. I uninstalled and reinstalled 5.4. I deleted my local repo and recloned it. I've regenerated files. I've cleaned the build. I've restarted my PC. I've done a full shutdown and a power cycle of my PC. I've updated my GPU drivers and Visual Studio. The only thing that has stopped the crash from happening is deleting UDS from the content folder. It's the only thing that's managed to. And every time I add UDS back in, it immediately hits the exact same crash in the same place. And it's something to do with material parameter collection in the engine source file, which I'm pretty sure that means something to do with UDS's probably animate time of day, because it's changing variables based on that. So it's
I've turned that off now.
Yeah, see, I still had it on in mine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know if it's that, but I would guess it's to do with the time of day, because anytime I've used parameter collections, it was for in the old SAMS level when we had the lights that would turn on and off based on day or night. I was using a parameter collection, or when I used the time trials, I use a parameter collection to track and use different colors for the gates. Or I did. I don't do it current version.
You're playing in the game repo. Your stuff is in the game repo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there's something in there. Oh. Okay, sus. All right. Okay, yeah.
But so for now, if I just took, if I deleted UDS and checked this level in, and you guys took it and just added UDS back in, and then I don't do anything else until I can get it to run with UDS, is that worth it or no?
Well, no, because that will make a mess on all the reference that are gonna be ghosted by our version that's got UDS.
But my chain,
is it like it's not like there is no chance that you can check in a version that it doesn't come from the same from the same atomic repo. It's just like recipe for disaster. You need to sync it. You need to make it work. Like either we say everybody kills EDS or not. Otherwise, we go, in reference nightmares all over the place.
See, the weird thing is, why can't I control UDS in this level? I don't even have UDS in my content browser.
I'm actually. I'm gonna build my my version. Let me just run it. A quick test with PS4 using.
I'm gonna go turn off animate time day in all of the levels I've got in here and see if.
I'm gonna run it with DS for Windows on a PlayStation controller and an Xbox on the normal ones. Make sure it plays both well. Looking like it does.
So, I don't want to roll back to. I don't want to roll back to using DS for Windows because we need to make it work without.
I don't doubt that, but that can be a build. You know, like this is what I mean. Like that can be a build, but it's stable without it. Like we can test all the everything else. Like a lot of the players already have that.
But we just say that we need to be more.
Yeah, but that's different because in sense of like playing it, like saying you need for PlayStation controllers you need a third party thing. That's fine.
I just say that from this version you don't need any third parties. Because
but then I think the issue there was that we didn't actually test with that because we didn't build and test with like if we didn't build and test with two different configurations.
Well, no, we did test. We did test with mine and Gans, and half of the people that he's working with, and the other half is not working with.
But my configuration I picked out and straight away had an issue.
Yeah,
and I'm playing with
that 50% that wasn't working.
But that's what we. But like if we're saying because especially like the previous versions, we needed DS for Windows. Like so, one of the tests would have had to been with the same configuration as before, with or without like PlayStation controller, DS for Windows, no DS for Windows, and mine had problems with both.
Yeah.
Because realistically, the gameplay here is ready to test. So, because again, we don't know how long. Like, what is the timescale on that DS for Windows, non-DS for Windows? Because that is the kind of like now if we say, hey, PlayStation controllers will require DS for Windows for this update, for this test while we work on raw input. That's all cool. That we just communicate as I push it.
I mean, it's been messy because.
But it like goes against the opposite of what we were saying earlier, because then it's like, then what do we just not release a build until we get the controls right? And that could be God knows how long. That could be a day, that could be a week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially because it's a configuration that all previous versions needed, and the only change was this most recent version that we did today. But this is what I mean in terms of like the where we're pushing it. It's like like what is like, because it would have been a case of like, okay, build, everyone run. Do we run it like does it all run in like all the different configurations, and then that because we had to be fair to like on our end actually we kind of knew this raw input bug existed for a while, because my machine still wasn't running it properly.
No, but like I wrote like shitloads of code
But I still could never get raw input to work non-brokenly on mine.
Yeah. I don't know, there's something that makes me nervous about regression in general. I know
Yeah,
that
but
it's not technically a
I don't.
regression because
This is the thing I'm confused because we were saying let's keep going it, but the regression is you need to use a third party software and like that's like because it's not like this is what I mean like the communicating the thing is if you communicate it and it'll be like, hey, we're working on raw input for controls but having issues and it therefore we disrupted the last build. Any person using PlayStation controller, please use raw input. Our Xbox controllers will work just fine. Like there's no regression there. It's just a bug, and but you're telling them that, and so they'll be like, okay, yeah, I download this thing. I need raw input if I'm using a PlayStation controller. If not, all good. And therefore, then the rest of the development, like the jumping and all that, they're now not just stuck with a version that is broken. You know?
yeah.
Because I don't see how like reverting to needing raw input is any worse than the version that we have now. I don't see how it, especially because the last full build had raw input, and this was what we were going on about being just a small little thingy that we didn't fully release. Like, did you announce anywhere that this doesn't need raw Windows DS4 Windows?
Yeah, I think so. I think it says in one of the notes, but
then
yeah.
But I mean,
sure.
like,
but yeah, we didn't really officially, release this yet. So yeah, I don't know. Like I have the feeling that yeah, it's,
I don't see how like if we say hey you need DS for Windows, which a lot of games like I play a lot of games where I still need DS for Windows to run them, with my PS5 controller, especially when the build new people are getting needs DS for like in terms of mail need DS for Windows, and the alternative build is broken because 50% of people can't actually use it. So like the alternative is a broken build or a build that works, but you just have to download the software that we were already asking you to download already. Like I don't see the negative of it. I don't like to me it's a no brainer. Like it's either keep them having a build where 50% can't really play, or everyone can play. Bunch of fixes, bunch of improvements, and the only change is that we put a message to one person in the thing saying, hey, you don't need it anymore. But then when I drop the build, I'll say, you'll need DS for Windows.
Okay. Are you building...
Yeah, I'm going to build my version because... Yeah,
Are you building from SPP code?
Yeah, I'm building from SPP code.
Yeah, so... Okay, so...
Because I want to test out the jumping. That was the whole point of this. I want to test it out.
No, I know. But so one of the reasons why, I mean, there will be other issues probably, but one of the reasons why raw input is not working on yours is because you haven't got the updated project file, which we don't check in for SPP code, but we do for SPP game. And we're not building SPP game yet. So if I send you the correct configuration for DS for Windows, which is one of the things that I fixed, then you should have raw input working at least the same level that I have it working, right? Because it makes no sense if that is not the case, right? Because if for SPP code we have like it's a little bit what Gans is doing, because we don't check in the project files, and there are very important settings in the project files. Then it's I don't know. I just think like
the core differentiation is that you would not need DS for Windows. That is the difference in the versions, right? Because I feel like we're being pedantic over the wrong thing. Like we weren't pedantic over like letting them what the controls, but pedantic over the thing. Like because if the sole difference that the player will feel is that they like they don't need DS for Windows, like the input wise, that's different. Because currently what they're accessing is broken. This is what I'm like. So I would rather leave tonight with having a stable build up, and then we can take the time we need to do whatever internal stuff we do.
Yeah, but it's not a stable build because all you need is the correct project file settings with raw input, and then you will have exactly the same configuration.
But so your raw input doesn't have any problems. You don't have any scaling problems, no control problems, or anything.
No, it doesn't have that problem because it is mapped to correctly, and I had the problem of the travel, that you press down and it was using the same button, and which I'm fixing. But once you have the project file which is aligned with mine, then it should work exactly the same.
Okay, well let's do that then. Because I'm just because I don't get because we need to update, in my opinion, because it's broken. So let's do that then. Or let me check in my changes in new build.
Let me send you the project file.
Can one of you do me a favor, please?
Yep.
Can you copy and send me your UDS folder so I can just get rid of mine and I can use one that we know works?
What is the one that is checked in, right?
Yeah. So what I've just noticed, so when I was in the back of testing level, I had UDS in there and it worked and I could change the lighting, but I don't have it in my local content browser, which means it's pulling it from, I guess it's pulling it from the plugins. So I've gone through like Sam's level and UDS and it wasn't there. It's not in my local. So I've cleared out all the references to that and replaced it with just standard Unreal lighting so we can see. I went to into like my post-process material and the mask material and cut out any references to UDS because there was a reference to like the weather effects, so it could run the drips down. I've killed all that. When I dropped my backup copy of UDS folder back into my local, I get the crash again. That's what I was saying. Could you send me a copy of your folder for UDS in case there's something corrupted in mine?
But the copy of our folder on UDS is exactly the same that you can find on GitHub.
Bugging. Why is it frozen?
Yeah, but it. Yeah, okay. In theory, I agree with you, but it can't be.
No, it can be otherwise because that is how content management system work, right?
Okay. So
I think there is definitely something off with the fact that we have two versions of that thing.
I'm gonna restart the stream.
Oh,
a second.
The fact that I can.
I'm gonna restart.
I have UDS and can use. Yeah, there is.